Hello, I'm K.D. Hale, Vice President of the Association of African American Cultural Gardens, and I have the honor of welcoming you, our audience, to our Sankofa Web Series. Our goal is to educate regarding the African American experience through this series. We will be interviewing some of the most interesting, engaging leaders, business leaders, and great entrepreneurs in this great city. These change agents will tell us about their journey, who they are, who inspired them, what they do, and what does African American history and African American cultural gardens mean to them. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our Facebook page, the Association of African American Cultural Gardens. And go to our website, aaacg.org, for most updated information regarding events in our Sankofa series, which can also be viewed on demand.
This is Harry Boomer. The African American Garden is one of 38 gardens in the Cleveland Cultural Garden Federation on Martin Luther King Drive. It celebrates the African American experience. Already completed on the upper level is the Past Pavilion and the Door of No Return. The black granite represents the fearful experience of those taken from Africa in confined quarters on slave ships. Yet to be constructed is a channel for water that cascades down the hill, representing the Middle Passage on the Atlantic Ocean, to a black granite terrace that is etched with the Little Dipper and the North Star, which guided thousands of enslaved people to freedom in the North. The water will continue to flow down the hillside in reference to the Ohio River and the Great Lakes that facilitated the journey for a better life. It also marks the continued struggle of black people to the present. Ending at Martin Luther King Drive, the garden will symbolize the spirit of tremendous resilience of our parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents who came from the South to a better, prosperous life in the North. The future platform beside the MLK Boulevard's walking trail will have benches and a water feature that gives homage to our past and hope to our future generations that anything is possible regardless of the challenges.
This is Obie Shelton. Let's finish it. The African American Cultural Garden has a portion already built at the top of the hill. With your help, it will cover the entire hill as a magnificent tribute to those who came before us, as well as a symbol of pride and hope for future generations. We need your donations of money, time, and energy to make it happen. Everybody can contribute something. We can do it. Visit aaacg.org, aaacg.org, and donate, or click the Contact tab and let us know you want to be a volunteer. Let's finish it. Hi, my name is Obie Shelton with the African American Cultural Garden Association. On the Sankofa series, we highlight people in the community who are doing all kinds of building up things, whether you know their names or not. A lot of people are contributing to the success of our community, and you may not know their names, but they are doing things just the same. That's true in our history, it's true today. It's true as we are welcoming our guest today, who is Traci Mitchell. Traci Mitchell, she is an expert, if you look her up on the internet, in organizational change, workforce transition, large-scale transformational initiatives, and project management. Those are some impressive terms. Help me understand what that means.
That's a lot. It's a mouthful. In short order, I am a change management consultant, and I am accustomed to working on projects to build the workforce up, to ready them for whatever the next transformation is. So for example, if there's a large product launch or we have a large systems upgrade, we call them rehangs, we would work together with our training department, the line of business owners, and various other key stakeholders to make sure that the employees who are going to be impacted have all the tools and resources they need to have the behavioral change. We make sure that we mitigate any risks, we mitigate any pushback that we would get from employees, and we just build everything in to prep folks for whatever the launch is.
Because change is hard.
Change is very hard. Most people overall don't care for change. even those of us who are change management consultants have some things that you just think, oh, I don't really feel like doing this different. But when you take a chance and you learn a new way of doing things, quite often it's more effective, it's more efficient, it's more productive, and sometimes it's just easier.
You know, I found that on the internet, right? Every time my computer upgrades, I go, I didn't ask for an upgrade, right? They say, now we're changing it. Now we're putting in a new operating system. I said, I didn't ask for that.
Right.
But I understand that without that process, things don't get better. Is that a good way to put it?
That's a perfect way to put it. But I'm that person that does not always do the upgrades on the computer, because something happens every time I upgrade on my laptop. It throws my printer off, and then I have to,
Exactly.
So,
all
yeah.
right. I'm surprised. Well, see, that makes me feel better, because I'm not going to hear your change. And you do it on a large scale, right?
Yes.
I mean, you've done it in companies, organizations, large organizations.
Yes.
It's a matter of how do you help management to move from one way of doing things to another. I imagine now we can understand that because of the pandemic, right?
Yes.
That was all about change,
Yes,
right?
that was all about change. You know, the pandemic, on one hand, it was so hard for all of us to wrap our minds around what was going on. It was something that none of us had ever dealt with. But then when you were able, or you were forced to step back and assess what you needed to do and where you needed to be, then you had to quickly lift and shift. And lifting and shifting is change management. In my work as a school board member, we had to ready our educators, the buildings, the parents, the community itself, as well as our scholars, to prepare them to come back into the school buildings in August of 2020, in the height of the pandemic. So that prep work was a lot of work, a lot of long hours, and we did it successfully.
And you're a board member of the
Warrensville Heights, City School District.
Right. So you were right in the middle of that. How do we change the way we educate children, and how do we change the environment of the educators responding to the pandemic? That was...
Yes. Oh, can you imagine what it was like in March? So March, I never will forget, we were in a school board meeting in February, and our superintendent, Donald J. Jolly Jr., he had an article, and I want to think it was the USA Today article that was hidden in the bylines. That was the weekend that Kobe Bryant, we lost Kobe.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And there was a small article in the bylines about COVID. And he had been following it because he stays up to date on everything that is going to impact the educational system. So long story short, he told us about it. He said, this is going to be bigger than the flu. This is what we have in place already to allow our district to move quickly into a virtual learning environment, because we're going to have to. We literally went to, I want to say it was regions, our regionals with the boys basketball. We were packed into the gym like sardines, probably COVID fest, crazy. And we went there, we all left, we went to another event together, and then that Monday, the world shut down. But Warrensville was ready. Literally, we flipped a button, and the kids were equipped with the Chromebooks. We had a Chromebook lab in place to help parents learn how to use this, learn how to use the technology that was being used for the online learning. And we were just ready to go. Wow.
So, like you've also worked with PNC Bank, correct?
Yes, I'm still with PNC Bank.
Okay. And in the Fairfax community, right?
Yes.
And working on financial literacy, right?
It's a little more. So the PNC Fairfax Connection is a free community resource that's been in the Fairfax neighborhood for 10 years now. In fact, we just celebrated our annual celebration in a really big way a couple of weekends ago. But we work under 6 tenets. We teach technology, digital learning, financial literacy for all ages. We have general education. We have career and workforce readiness. We do cultural and programming and special events, and then health and wellness. So under those 6 tenets, we have programs and activities that go on month to month, and it's for all ages. So literally from preschool to our most senior citizen, they're able to come in and take advantage of our programming. And PNC has a partnership with Sesame under our PNC Foundation Grow Up Great, and we have significant amounts of monies dedicated to youth development from pre-K to 5.
When you say Sesame Street, you mean?
Sesame.
Sesame.
Sesame Street.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah. You are a Cleveland native?
I am, yes.
Grew up in what part of town?
So I spent the bulk of my youth in Warrensville Heights. I had my early starts on right off 105th on Yale Avenue. And then my family moved to East Cleveland. I was there through elementary school, and then moved to Warrensville in 5th grade, and that's where I finished my academic career. Blue and gold, go Tigers.
Yeah.
I am on the school board there now. I'm serving my 2nd term. I raised my son there.
Now, you know, I share this with a lot of younger people, just because I tell them I wasn't like that star student in throughout my academic career. Were you? I'm picturing you always being in the front of the class, always having your homework in on time. Yes.
Yes.
Wow, you were one of those students in the front of the class.
Well, I didn't like to sit up front, but I did because of my last name. We sat in alpha order.
Okay, yeah, I remember.
So, but yes, I was very blessed to really like studying. I like to learn, and I like to explore.
Read?
I love to read. And so I was in the top 10 of my class.
Very good. So
hard work.
You are an example for people to that if you work hard, if you study well, you can do well. Now, can you talk a little bit? We were talking about this before the camera started rolling. That a lot of people are doing very significant things behind the scenes,
Yes.
right? You see yourself as?
I always position myself as the wizard behind the curtain, pushing all the buttons and making everything work. I prefer to be in the background, delivering whatever things need to be executed behind the scenes to make whatever we're producing in front of that camera curtain, so to speak, work, and so that it works flawlessly. Typically, I also do event management. I've done that in my corporate space for over 20 years. During the pandemic, I was bored, so I went ahead and got my certification, planning for retirement. And because I do have plans post-retirement to go ahead and take my business and put it in place if I'm blessed to do so. But I prefer to have on my jeans, my Chuck Taylors, my t-shirt, baseball cap, doing everything behind the scenes to make sure that everything is executed flawlessly.
When you think back, was there any one person who influenced you, said something to you that kind of put you on this trajectory or had a significant impact in what you ended up doing?
So, it's interesting. People touch you at different points in times in your life. In high school, I had several teachers who took a deep interest in all of us because Warrensville is a small community and it is community and community is family. So they had a different manner of not just educating us, but molding us into who we were as young people then and who we grew to be in our more mature years. Mr. Hal Johnson was my world history teacher who literally helped me fall even deeper in love with history. I had Sandra Talley, who was one of my first teachers in 5th, 6th grade at Randallwood that just really helped me learn to like math better because math was not one of my good subjects. And I could go on and on and on, but then as I take a look at my graduate from college, and then moving into the corporate space, when I was trying to figure out what to do after college, I had a couple of job opportunities that my dad said, well, those are good, but come on back home You've been gone for 4 years. Yeah. So I came home, I took a position here, hated it. And then my mom's very dear friend, Mrs. Carolyn Brown, said, come on back into banking. I'll make a place for you here. Do you mind working on the teller line? I said, no, I just don't like what I'm doing. And that's how I came back to banking, because of Carolyn Brown. Through her, I was able to matriculate through our larger banks. So I've been blessed to work at Bank One with the great Bracy Lewis, who really impacted my life in a big way and still means the world to me. I was able to meet and talk with Reuben Holloway, Society, Danny Cameron, Mr. John McClain. I was able to interact with him when I was at Key Bank. So I have been very blessed to walk in the shoes of some of the greats that passed through the big banks here in Greater Cleveland and made a strong name for themselves. And they just didn't do it for themselves. They reached back and they grabbed us and they pulled us up with them. And then they taught us who we needed to be, how we needed to behave, how we needed to work, how we needed to talk, to walk, to dress. They prepared us for who we are today. I ran into Bracy a couple of weeks ago at an event, and he just laughed. He said, wow, look how you growed up. and I said, yeah, it's thanks to you, people like you.
You are on the board of the Warrensville Heights School Board.
Yes.
Any insights, any advice to younger people?
Absolutely. You know, if I could go back and talk to my younger self, I would tell myself, play, but study harder. Absorb as much information as you can. Kids have got to ask all the questions in the world. Questions are how you get answers. Read, read, read. There's so much knowledge in being able to read, and not just read to comprehend, and to be able to use that information to synthesize it and build upon it so you can do what you need to do to either position yourself for your future or position the company you're working for, even to build your own company. But education, I know it's trite, but it's so true. Education and knowledge is the key to our success. Stay focused in school. I know that it gets hard. I know that some of the classes and subjects that you have to study are not to your liking. It is what it is. But take as much from every step of your educational career as possible. And I also know that every child isn't college bound, and that's okay. Find your passion. Live in your passion. Study what you can do in that passion to be successful. You might be the next great barber that is barber to the stars. You can do anything you want to do. Just be prepared. Preparation is key, and education is part of that preparation journey. So if I wasn't doing what I'm doing right now, I would probably be doing something that's more in line with the creative side of my nature. I would have gone ahead and opened up my own event management business, and I would be heavily focused on your small businesses, your nonprofit organizations, to help them build out and deliver not just powerful events, but powerful events that allow them to bring in their centers of influence as well as their normal patrons, and can use those events to build their organizations, to reach out and bring people in to drive revenue, to drive knowledge, to help people learn more about those organizations. I would not have worked in corporate America so long. I would have been my own boss.
Which leads us to the garden.
Yes.
Because the African American Cultural Garden is all of those stories, like represented in a structure.
Yes.
From your perspective, why is it important that we finish it?
So I'm going to go a little bit further back.
Yes.
I needed to look up the word Sankofa. I wanted to know what it meant. And when I was doing my research,
Like a good student?
Yes, I told you I'm a little bit of a nerd. It talked about knowing your history, but not just knowing your history, understanding your history, and the fact that it's okay to go back and pick up what you didn't know. So when you take a look at the word Sankofa, understand the significance of the series that's being produced right now, and then you layer that on top of the impact and importance of the gardens, our African American cultural garden. It takes you from a journey from the western coast of Africa with the slave trade. It takes you across that Atlantic journey, and then it brings you into the present. And it's a beautiful testament of who we are. To me, it exemplifies strength, resilience, and it's just a beautiful, illustrative depiction of who we are as a people. The only thing that I really am hoping is that we are able to get that garden out, talk about it more, get our young families involved with it, help the young folks in our communities get to the field trips there. So this is just a beautiful way to learn about our history. We have got to know who we are. The only way we know who we are is to know where we came from so that we can be prepared for where we're going.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
Sharing with us. This is Traci Mitchell. You may encounter her if you need some organizational work, some organizational development, but we really appreciate her coming on and talking about the African American Cultural Gardens, which we are working very hard, and we're going to finish it. We're going to finish it, and you can help us. Our website is aacg.org, and I invite you to go there, visit, become a member, become a donor, or just donate your time, whatever you have, to help us make this a reality. My name is Obie Shelton. This is the Sankofa series, and thank you for joining us on this one.
Hi, my name is Rachel Hill with the Association of African American Cultural Gardens. The mission of the Association of African American Cultural Garden is to educate regarding the African American experience and to complete the monument for the African American Garden. Our Sankofa series represents our dedication to bring you the history and amazing journey of African Americans in this great city. Our garden represents a journey, starting with the door of no return to the resilience of our ancestors and family to make a difference in this country. The water feature gives hope and joy for future generations, knowing that you can accomplish anything with dedication and hard work. We are on the journey to complete the garden. Our goal is to break ground this year to complete the garden, but we need your help to get to the finish line. Please make your tax-deductible donation by going to aacg.org or mail your check to P.O. Box 20237, Cleveland, Ohio 44120. Thank you.